theme music. Sure, I'm on here. Hello, folks. Richard Moore. I'm going to talk a little bit about the state of community-oriented policing and the wonderful world of creepy perpetrators that make this holistic approach to policing a realistic nightmare for excess of 4 million Americans, and that's a conservative number, are victimized annually. So I find it absolutely unbelievable that that anyone would be oblivious to what I'm talking about. But I do believe that many are oblivious to the criminal nature. When these organizations, these community organizations, receive federal funding through the Department of Justice, and this program is overseen by local law enforcement, understand that they sanction crimes against humanity, where they violate civil and constitutional rights. They commit property crimes, physical assaults, abuse under the color of law, abuse of power, with reckless and unwarranted searches and seizures, unwarranted and reckless traffic stops, petty citations, serious fraudulent criminal charges. All of these things perpetrated by those elected to protect and serve. So it makes you wonder what this protect and serve is. What are they protecting and serving? Their own self-interest. We continue to follow Pasco County Sheriff Chris Nakoa. They now have 4 federal lawsuits, and they're in the middle of a Department of Justice investigation for misuse of federal funds. And I expect that to follow suit as it pertains to North Mississippi, Lee County, Union County, and some of the other counties that all work together in this multi-jurisdictional nightmare. If you're not targeted by these community freaks and morons, and this is where law enforcement, when I get a visit from Union County Sheriff's Department yesterday telling me we're going to arrest you again for cyber stalking. So in their minds, cyber stalking is unflattering free speech. As an alternative media news reporter, they continue to threaten, which is a violation of my constitutional right, threaten to deprive me of that constitutional right. Not only have they threatened to do that, they have followed through and arrested me for that. Yet, when I have reported hundreds, I've done it publicly. I've over 24 criminal complaints to the Union County Sheriff's Department in hand with physical evidence, photographic evidence, and eyewitnesses. They've done nothing. Nothing. Jimmy Edwards and his troop of deputies are a joke. And I'll carry that a little further. Anybody that pull the lever for these clowns are absolutely a joke, and you have no reason, no cause whatsoever to bitch, moan, and groan when it doesn't go your way. You're the one that elected these tyrants in here, and we've yet to see one get a backbone and stand up and say, hey, I'm not a part of that. I'm not going to hold my breath for that, but I can guarantee you one thing. I will continue to challenge this. That's not going to stop. And they can continue to threaten me with locking me up and whatever else. Get you locking up on, I'll promise you. As you continue to violate, and I'm not the only person. So they're a little pissy because I made some things very public. The recent passing of Brian Edwards, the murder of the Stevens family in Chickasaw County, and there's more, and I've named them. Jessica Stacks. will we ever get an answer. These are the elements, ladies and gentlemen, of corruption. Well, they spend all of their resources on keeping their story up front and center, and that being the story, protecting the lie. They will go to any lengths to muzzle the messenger, to discredit people like me that bring forward the truth and the facts and question the lies that these individuals are telling, even to the national media. Remember, there's always two sides to every story. And if you're getting it from those in a position of trust and power in North Mississippi, you can bet your bottom dollars, ladies and gentlemen, there is another side of that story. And perhaps, there are many people that do not want to hear it. Last week, the Targeted Individual Protection Act petition was launched. That is still in play, and I encourage anyone and everybody to just take a few minutes, sign the petition, and pass it on. We're going to present this petition. Will go to Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith and 29 other members of the United States House of Representatives. Not only do we have this petition in, as I look and I monitor those that are signing it and versus those that don't sign it, it seems that the perpetrators are pushed back. The fake individuals and the individuals that says, no, I think it's okay that there's no oversight, that this unhinged federal program abusing American citizens, we don't need to know about it. They don't need any rights. Just let them do what they want and kill them where they stand. These are the same people. These are the same people that are posting memes and all these statistics and stuff and how they stand with Ukraine, but yet they won't stand with their own neighbor, their own fellow citizen. Give me a break. I'm sure the Ukraine and the citizens there are taking a lot of comfort when you've got some hayseed in Mississippi saying, we stand with Ukraine. Really? You won't even stand with your neighbor. You won't even stand up for the truth. You won't stand up for God and country. You're pathetic. You're pathetic. And there are many of those that in North Mississippi that are not like what I just described. Did I describe the majority? Oh, I described a great deal. A great deal. There are more people in this country, obviously, that are complacent with whatever the powers that be are doing. I can't do anything about it. All I can do is nothing, and that's what they're doing. So we got $5-6 a gallon for gas at the pumps. That's why we could steal elections. Don't complain about the election. Don't complain about the gas, because you continue to sit there and ignore things like this petition, the Targeted Individual Protected Act. This means that when a person is targeted, that Homeland Security, the fusion centers, and community-oriented policing have decided to deprive an individual of their constitutional rights without them knowing it, without any due process, without any warning. And if they're not destroyed by the time they realize what's going on, there is no process in which they can challenge the gross, negligent violations of their civil and constitutional rights. Law enforcement is the fox guarding the hen house. And these crash dummies, they don't know the law. It takes a corrupt and a diabolical prosecutor, a district attorney, to run a bullshit case on citizens. And that's what they do. That's what they do. very seldom, is someone incarcerated that actually committed a crime. The ones committing the crimes are the ones doing the incarcerating. I know people have a hard time with that. The criminals are riding around in taxpayer-funded vehicles, and they're wearing extremely tight, taxpayer-funded outfits. They're not hard to see. And if you wonder if they're lying or not, their mouth is moving. There you have it. I also wanted to touch base on some of the cyber perps we have. Often we get the story that the victim is telling, and we take that and we run with it, assuming all things are equal. When we look at Astra Stanwyck and her story of how hitmen stalked and she foiled the plot and she didn't get hit. Everything else is make-believe. What she doesn't tell you is that the story we haven't heard is that of John Stanwyck, her ex-husband. We haven't heard that story. A successful contractor, one of his successes is building Bass Pro Shops globally, or at least nationally, but has global contracts. And Bass Pro Shops is just one Cabela's as well. And when we talk about these national franchises, we're talking about things that cater to the very fabric of this nation, of freedom. And then we take Astra Stanwyck, Russian military, trained operative, hates capitalism, hates the free enterprise system, moreover hates America. I think we need to spend more time in looking at when people like this are posing as a victim and not questioning the story. Or perhaps the questionable relationship with her stepson that ended in apparent suicide. That's questionable. Our own children that refuse to have anything to do with her. And the fact that she did everything possible to destroy her children's father. And then we have Lawrence, the stepson, untimely death. There's a lot. John Stanwyck, Cave Creek, Arizona. I watched this firsthand. I happened to be in the vehicle with this woman, and we're riding around, and she's stopping, and she's watching and looking at this house, and I'm thinking that she's looking for a house to look at to purchase. And come to find out, she was trying to figure out where her ex-husband had moved to. I'm thinking, she's stalking him. And then she makes this, it was very cold laugh. Oh, he's scared. He's running from me. And I'm like, and I asked, why are you looking? Well, I want to know. She's stalking him. So these things, the facade of being a real victim, she posts in several groups on Quora. And I mentioned Quora. You can join me on Quora. It's U.S. Anti-Gang Stalking. And YouTube, United States Anti-Gang Stalking Association. Subscribe, share, and like. It is important that we get our message out. And you have other trolls that live in their cars and behind dumpsters that side with these online trolls and perps. These individuals befriend and try to be partners with me in what I'm doing. Too many times have I had so-called victims come forward and say, we want to support what you're doing. All in the purpose of destroying what I'm doing. In other words, they'll bring you up and drop you, bam. This is support bombing, the same thing as love bombing. and affection bombing, all of these things, where all of a sudden you've got someone following you, and they like and they cling and they love everything you do, only to ghost and disappear. This is the diabolical scheme of community-oriented policing, and federal tax dollars, our tax dollars, are paying for people to sit there and yo-yo and work every element of a person's life, their home life, to destroy that, their employment, everything, their finances. This is unexcusable. It's unexcusable when these people that are used up are no longer considered viable in the scheme of things. And next thing we know, they have met an untimely death. I've had another individual that's reached out to me in the last 24 hours talking about the untimely death of her son in Chickasaw County, Mississippi. That story is coming. As I broadcast more and more and more, and our exposure of the exposure of these crimes, more and more people are coming forward with their stories. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you must know that these individuals that I'm exposing, and I've been talking about them, if you've been watching the last 15, 20 minutes, are the very individuals that seek to stop the message. And I refuse to stop the message. I'm here because God says I can be here. I'm here because it is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it irritates these people to no end that they cannot destroy someone that they hate. What is it they hate about it? They hate the truth. They hate the truth. So when I'm out in front of my house and a bunch of punks come by shouting obscenities, I'm supposed to not react, not say anything about it online, according to Union County Sheriff's Department, or we'll arrest you. Those comments will be the comments that will indict the Sheriff's Department. I'm working on putting that right now in black and white. We'll run that up the pole. We're going to keep doing it. It's not funny. You think I'm just one person and I'm just speaking for me. No, I'm speaking for millions across this nation and globally. That's who I'm speaking. I'm one of the voices that will be there. And more importantly, I refuse to let friends, someone that I love, to see their death and then be dismissed as a nobody. A lot of nobodies in this book of Americans that have been forgotten. Americans that are abused and they're radically dismissed and marginalized as suffering from some type of psychosis, or they're imagining things. Nothing can be further from the truth. The only psychosis here are those that are in a position of trust refuse to do their job because they're worried about their own finances and their own family. You should have thought about that before you took the job. You should have thought about that. Since Emmett Till's murder, I don't know if you know it, ladies and gentlemen, but there's still one perpetrator at large that has not been tried, and in his involvement in the death of Emmett Till. This individual is 66 years old. Why are we still struggling with these things in the South? Why? We just should let it go. Should just quit talking about it. Folks, let me tell you, the problem of racism, discrimination, that's fueled by hate and evil, fake Christians, fake churches, secret, perverted fraternal organizations like the Masons and Eastern Star, is the reason today we're having the problems we're having, and the reason that one of the murderers involved in the Freedom Riders and Emmett Till's death is still at large. Only in Mississippi. Only in the dirty South. They'd like to thank you that we think that we've progressed beyond that. Really? No. Just because they've managed to recruit some Uncle and Aunt Toms in on the program and they've whitewashed this deal, the dirty South has not progressed from this. As a matter of fact, this community-oriented policing, they love what's going on in the dirty South. They've bolstered this. Other states, California, Texas, New York. Now they look at the models in the South that are known for oppressive behavior, for the Ku Klux Klan, which is alive and well, are known for this. So, well, they've gotten away with it. Let's look how they're doing it. And so we've got hundreds and thousands of citizens in the South that have become lab rats. And whatever the story is whatever the story is, law enforcement is telling, and it's being challenged in courtrooms all over this country now. They're not going to be able to keep that lie. There is a little trembling of this statuous wall that they have built that has protected this blue wall of silence and lies is starting to rumble and crumble. So, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to share. I welcome your comments. And in the comments section, I will post a link for the Targeted Individuals Protection Act, as well as our GoFundMe. Without the support of viewers, what we're doing, these filings, all of this stuff costs money. Don't assume someone else is doing it. There's many of you out there that can absolutely complete the whole drive with one contribution. Let God be your guide on that. Until next time, God bless you.